One way to make our conversation creative is to use idioms. Idioms not only help us to make our conversation more effective and engrossing, but also help us to express our emotions and thoughts precisely. So, in this lesson, we are going to discuss idioms along with their meanings and their application in sentences. So, I'm Mrs. Ritika Mehta. Welcome you all back to my YouTube channel, and let's start this lesson without any further ado. Coming to the first one, that is an uphill task. So, what is an uphill task? An uphill task is something that is very difficult or challenging, and it requires enormous determination and effort. For instance, teaching is an uphill task. Why? Because it needs a lot of effort. Next in the list is on point. What does it mean? On point means exactly the way it has to be, or extremely good, appropriate, or relevant. For instance, you can crack an interview as your communication skills are on point. Next, have you ever come across this one? High and mighty, which means too egoistic or proud. For instance, we should always be humble rather than being high and mighty. Talking about the next one, that is hand over fist, which means very quickly or rapidly. This idiom is specifically used when talking about earning or losing money very quickly. For instance, you can make money hand over fist if you work wholeheartedly. This one is quite prominent. Flat broke. Who is a flat broke? A person who has no money at all or is penniless. For instance, spend wisely, else you would be a flat broke soon. We can also use hand to mouth, which means having hardly enough money or food to live on. Which word do you usually use to describe someone who is really good at speaking, who has the potential to influence other people? From now, you can use this idiom, silver tongued. A silver tongued is a person who is very good at speaking, is skillful enough to convince others. One who is a great influencer can be termed as silver tongued. For instance, the silver tongued politician skillfully coped with the tough questions of the audience. It means that politician had the ability to answer every question that the public came up with. Have you ever come across this one? Pretty penny. As you know, penny means money and pretty means a lot of. So it means a large sum of money, too much money. When referring to the cost of something, we can use it to describe something which is really pricey. For instance, the luxury brands cost a pretty penny, which means you have to spend a lot of amount if you wish to buy luxury brands. We usually use the word unemployed or jobless for someone who doesn't have work. But this really sounds rude. So instead of using the word unemployed, we can say between jobs. Between jobs means a situation in which a person doesn't have any work or is unemployed. For instance, life is getting tough as I am between the jobs. This one can be used in our day to day life. If you don't use it, start using it from now. Under the weather. What does it mean? Under the weather means to feel low, sick, unwell, or in bad shape. For instance, Ram couldn't attend the school as he was under the weather, which means he wasn't well, so he couldn't go to school. Next in the list is bite your tongue. Bite your tongue means to stop yourself from speaking. For instance, it's better to bite your tongue than to be regretful or sorry later. It means it is important to speak as much as required. If you repent later, there is no use. So speak as much as required. This one is my favorite. An eager beaver. Who is an eager beaver? An eager beaver is someone who is immensely enthusiastic, excited, and energetic. One who is tremendously hardworking and is ready to take up tasks and ensure completion. For instance, I really appreciate Ram for being an eager beaver, which means he never denies for any task. He is always ready to do anything and everything without any complaint. This one is quite hilarious. Butterflies in the stomach. It doesn't mean that you have insects in your stomach. Rather, it means to be nervous. For instance, I had butterflies in my stomach while performing on the stage. It means I was feeling jittery or nervous when I went on the stage to perform. Have you ever heard this one? This one is sometimes offensive. To take a French leave. It has nothing to do with the country France. Rather, it means absence from work or duty without information or permission. It can also be used as an unannounced departure. That is, you leave a place without saying goodbye to anyone. For instance, Rocky took French leave when the party was in full swing, which means that Rocky did not intimate or inform anyone and left quietly from the party. Coming to the last one, that is burn the candle at both ends. This is an idiom which means to work hard day and night on something in such a way that you get less time to rest. You can also use burn midnight oil. For instance, I have to burn the candle at both ends during exam days so as to ensure the best result of my students. And this is the reality of my life. I leave no stone unturned to ensure the best outcome of my pupil. I wish you all to use these idioms in your daily conversation to sound interesting and creative. It would add uniqueness in both your speech and writing. If you really find this content fruitful and wish to get more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Keep watching, keep learning, keep sharing. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next one now.